Mickey's Maximum Exposure.
Hi, this is Marneen Lynne Fields, and you're listening to Mickey's Maximum Exposure.
Welcome to Mickey's Maximum Exposure. I'm your host, Mickey. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a great guest here today. Her name is Marneen Lynne Fields. How are you doing, Marneen?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you. First, I met you at the LA Music Awards. You performed during the showcase, and it was such a great performance. Yeah, so why don't you talk about Shadows a little bit? Because you performed that at the LA Music Awards, right?
Right. We performed Shadows at the LA Music Awards, and what's so exciting about my whole life this last year is that Stuart Epps, who was instrumental in the early careers of Elton John and Led Zeppelin, he chose me to produce Shadows. So I have this amazing producer, the biggest in the world, who's produced this song that you're about to hear. The song was written by London's David Palfreyman, and he's the lead singer of Mouth. Mm-hmm. And David approached me after hearing my work in We Can Take Some of the Hurt Away. And he said, my God, the vocals. And this is something I've been working for over 20 years, is to be recognized as a singer and working on songs all my life. And so he gave me a song, and I reworked the song and turned it into Shadows. Mm-hmm. And it has a real James Bond sort of feel to it. So people that were hearing it go, oh, it sounds like James Bond. Well, there's a man connected with the LA Music Awards and the Artists in Music Awards. His name is John Caravello. Mm-hmm, yes. And he's a wonderful public figure. And he sent a breakdown. He actually gave me a review and said Shadows should be its own James Bond movie. So I can't take credit for the inspiration. I kept hearing James Bond when I was recording it and saying this sounds, but his inspiration then fueled the performance that you photographed. Yes. And they said we gave the best performance of the evening at the LA Music Awards nomination party. I went out and cast for a James Bond, and I was fortunate enough to get Pierre Dulé, who is a French international cover model. He's done all these magazines. He's also an actor. Mm-hmm. And then I cast for Grace Jones, and I also cast for an Ursula Andress. Mm-hmm. So I got two supermodels. Barney Smith, who is absolutely beautiful. She played Ursula Andress. We gave her a knife, and she put her in a midriff thing. And then Precious Mixon, who was fantastic as Grace Jones. And so we worked out a little fight scene dance number. Now, the good news is I've got cameras going to London. They're going to film David Palfreyman and Stuart Epps in London, and then we are doing a full-out James Bond music video that I'm producing. Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's so exciting.
That sounds like something that's really going to take off once it's done. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Well, you'll be one of the first to see it, and we are getting ready to launch Shadows. It has not been launched over the airwaves yet, and it's going out to 450 radio stations. It's just a fantastic song.
All right, we're back, and that was Shadows by Marneen Lynne Fields. Marnene, that is a great song. I think everybody just got into James Bond mood. They wanted to go become a spy and everything. Man, that's great. But earlier you were telling me that the song is really about someone wanting to commit suicide or something.
Oh, well, when I first took on the Shadows project and changed it into Shadows and sat and meditated on the words, it's so deep and so dark that I said, well, I'd really like to do something with this that helps suicide prevention in teenage girls or teenage pregnancy. But then we had this overwhelming response to James Bond. So now the first commercial project with this is James Bond, and I do have to tell you, I've written others. I've got 64 original compositions that will go public over the next few years, and I do have other suicide prevention projects. If we decide that James Bond gets so big, then we'll just go with that.
I see. Okay.